Hi everyone, I'm Donna Louise and welcome to my channel for the love of puzzles. Today we continue our journey as we travel around art, the current largest commercially available jigsaw puzzle in the world from Grafika. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos I've done on this, I'll leave all the links in the description below. I suggest you at least watch the unboxing just to get an overview of the entire jigsaw puzzle. So today I'm doing the fifth bag. I think it's five. Yeah, five. I've done 4 so far. This is the fifth bag, and the section that I'm working on is section number 20. It's another along the floor section. So if I grab our little panoramic poster here, there, this is the entire jigsaw puzzle. What I've completed so far are these 3 sections along this edge here, as well as one of the bookshelf sections. So today, what I'm going to start with is the next along the floor section, this one right down there. I'm excited to do this one because one of the artwork is quite different, very abstract. Like, I can't wait to learn more about it. So as with the other videos, I'll do a voiceover and I'll discuss both of these paintings while the time lapse of the build goes on. I'm really interested to find out more about this one right here. It's very bright and colorful, quite different. I think it's one of the newer paintings in this jigsaw puzzle. So without further ado, let's travel around art and build section 20, which is the 5th bag of still many more bags to go. But we'll get there. The first painting that I'm going to discuss in this part of the puzzle is called Landscape with House, Dog and Cattle, and it's by Franz Marc. Now, I had a hard time finding information online about this particular painting of his, perhaps because it's not his most popular one though. It was painted in 1914, and Franz Marc, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was a German painter and printmaker. Now, I thought the style of this painting was abstract, but I don't know what I'm talking about. So I found information online that refers to it as landscape art as well as expressionism. So there you go. It's approximately 66 by 71 centimeters, so not too big, but a pretty good size. What I could find online is that it's currently owned by the Merzbacher Kunststiftung. I'm sorry, so very sorry, which I believe Merzbacher is a family name, and that is an art foundation based out of Zurich, Switzerland. So Kunststiftung, oh my goodness, I think it means foundation or art foundation or whatnot. The Merzbacher family, their collection, they currently have it on display at one of the biggest art museums in Switzerland in terms of area, the Kunsthaus in Zurich. Hopefully I said that correctly or close. Now, I can't actually confirm whether or not this particular painting of Franz Marc is on display with that collection at the moment, but I do believe it is part of that family's collection, and at this moment in time, they have a big display at that art house in Switzerland, in Zurich. Now, let's get back to Franz Marc. His work consisted primarily of animals because he considered non-human forms of life to be the most expressive manifestation of the vital natural force. And in fact, like, his most mature works depict like animals, and they're very well known to be bright in color, which this painting I absolutely loved. I loved the colors. And at first, when I read the title of the painting before assembling it, I thought, where's the dog? Where's the cattle? But where's the house? I saw it. I can see it. It's great. I love it. Now, I did have trouble finding specific information about this particular painting, probably because some of his other works are very well known and very famous. There's, for example, The Fate of the Animals, The Tower of the Blue Horses, The Yellow Cow. And in fact, one of his paintings called Grazing Horses 3 sold for a record like 12 million British pounds. I'm not sure if it's sold since, but its last reported sale that I could find out about was 12 million pounds. That's crazy. Now, this is just a bit of information about Franz Marc. If you want more, please look him up. The second painting in this part of the jigsaw puzzle is by Claude Monet, who is a French Impressionist painter. Now, I've seen the name of this painting two different ways. Terrasse à Sainte-Adresse, which literally translates to terrace at Sainte-Adresse in English. I've also seen it as Jardin à Sainte-Adresse, which then is garden at Sainte-Adresse. But the word French terrasse is often translated as garden in English. It's basically very similar. The same thing. And this is quite a larger bit painting at approximately 98 by 130 centimeters. It's currently housed at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York of the United States. And he painted it in 1867. Now, Monet spent the summer of 1867 at the resort town of Sainte-Adresse, which is in France. While he was there, this garden view is what gave him the scene to paint this picture. And it combines smooth, traditionally rendered areas with sparkling passages of rapid, separate brushwork and spots of pure color. This is what I'm finding online under Wikipedia and other places. I would never be able to come up with such beautiful words to describe these wonderful pieces of art. I just love it. Now, it is believed the models in this particular painting are perhaps his father, Adolphe, who's sitting on the chair in the foreground, and that maybe over by the fence was Monet's cousin wife, Jeanne Marguerite Le Cadre, as well as her father, another Adolphe, and perhaps even her sister Sophie is the one sitting down with the white parasol. So, not too sure, but that's who they believe are potentially the people in this painting. Now, although the scene projects an affluent, domesticity and, it's by no means, they say, a family portrait, because I guess Monet's relationship with his father was, tense that summer, because his family disapproved of his relationship with Camille Dancieux, who eventually became his wife-to-be. If you saw how I sorted this part of the puzzle, this painting, I did sort it in two. I did the water and the sky, and then I sorted the garden area. But when I built it, I really did build the water, then the sky, and the garden. And what's really cool is they actually talk about the three horizontal zones in the composition of this scene, and I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly how I assembled the puzzle in three, separate zones. And I guess the way that it's designed adds to the two-dimensionality of the painting, and rather than it feeling like you're going off in the distance, it feels more like you're going up in elevation rather than going away. Sorry if I'm not explaining that correctly. But yeah, just really interesting. All the information I'm finding out is so much fun. It's so interesting. Just things not only about the painting themselves, but the artists that are doing these paintings and references to other painting and other artists. I hope you're enjoying all this information. I hope I'm not butchering it too badly, and I apologize again for all the mispronounced names. I'm getting there though. Now, I would classify this as easy. This was quite easy to do. It only took me 10 hours and 11 minutes. I have some notes here, so apologies if I look down. You will notice that I sorted. Oh, did I sorted, subsorted. I had so many piles, but really, that only took me an hour and 15 minutes. And I think in this case, sorting that extensively made it very easy to assemble this puzzle. I literally just had section after section that I moved around and did. Now, I'm trying to make myself not do all the fun areas of the jigsaw puzzle first. So I'll make myself do the floor before I move on to something else. And for example, you know, it's really enjoyable to do the paintings, but I was like, no, before I start doing this painting, I have to finish the frame on this one. So I don't want to leave, I don't even want to say boring, because I love the frames, they're not boring, but I want to have a variety, basically going back and forth. Typically though, I end up finishing with the beige background just because it's hard to put those pieces in first, because you don't quite figure out where they would go. But overall, I'm enjoying it still so very much. I love the way I've just found kind of like a pattern to put it together. I think having the experience of already done one of the lower sections, it made this area easy, especially this bottom part here with the molding on the wall, but still lots of fun, lots of fun. So what else? I was worried that these beige background pieces were going to take me a while. I had quite a few, not too many luckily left. However, I found a pattern. I found a pattern and how they go. I tried explaining this to my husband and he glazed over and had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not explaining this correctly. But I kind of figured out, you know, the direction of pieces, skinnier pieces versus fatter pieces, or pieces that have a skinny side versus a fat side, and which way they kind of go. And in the end, figuring out a pattern to the pieces made it really easy. I was like, okay, wow, this is actually going quite well. And in the end, those few beige pieces didn't cause me a headache or pain or anything. And the thing is, of course, I'm going to remember what that pattern or logic was when I come to do the other sections. I don't know if it only applies to the outer edge or if it also applies to the center pieces as well. We'll see. The next section that I do has a lot of background beige pieces. So, you know, I shouldn't jump ahead here because it could be quite difficult, but we'll see if that pattern kind of repeats and exists. And if so, I'll try to explain it in more detail when I do the next section. Maybe try to come up with diagrams. I thought I understood what I was saying. It was logic. It made sense in my brain, but I don't think it came well across. But I figured out a pattern of how certain shaped pieces, where they go, which direction they point, and it made it so much easier because instead of trying, you know, all the pieces in one area, I could narrow it down to maybe, you know, a quarter of the pieces that could actually fit in one place, if that helps explain it. Now, I'm realizing it's getting difficult to display all the sections together. So I'm rethinking here. Once I have 2 more sections done, so 6 sections that all connect together at the start of the puzzle, I am going to try to mount them on a wall using various adhesives that will at least hopefully let them stay up for 48 to 72 hours and not ruin the paint. So I will try that soon because I only have 2 more sections to do before I can do that. I'm thinking on my garage floor, 6 sections is about as much as I could display. I should have moved the other couch. It's heavy, I was by myself, so apologies that the end shots of all these 4 sections together is maybe not the best, but it just gives you an idea of how large this puzzle is and how difficult and tricky it is to maneuver. The other reason why I'm thinking of only displaying maybe 6 sections at a time is that the prongs are kind of getting worn from being repeatedly, you know, assembled, disassembled on the edges. And so I might do 6 sections and then do like a rolling 6 sections at a time. Again, makes sense in my head, not sure if it's coming across. Eventually though, at the end, I promise, I will find a way to display all 27 panels, sections together. It'll be great. We will have an overview of the entire thing. I was thinking of going outside and displaying outside. It's still winter here in New Zealand. It's still very wet. I don't mind the cold weather, but I don't want to get the puzzle wet. The ground is very damp, even if I put a tarp down. So for now, it might be 6 sections at a time that you'll see assembled. And eventually, I guess that'll just draw some attention. You'll have to wait to see the whole big grand display at the end. So, but we'll get there one way or another, I promise. The last thing I want to talk about is that I really, really appreciate all the support that I've gotten from the jigsaw puzzling community. My videos have only been up since May 4th, and as of I'm filming this, it's just the start of August. I always film a bit in advance, so like this video will probably only be released in 2 weeks' time. But basically in the 3 months that I've had videos up, I'm getting so many subscribers, so many lovely comments and followers, and I feel I'm building a community, and I really appreciate that. I'm like, oh, look, oh, they commented again, oh, great. And I love the feedback and the help that people are giving me and the advice, and also like the artists that they enjoy jigsaw puzzles, or the brands they enjoy, or their experience with the same puzzle that I've done. I just love the rapport, the community. I'm really, really enjoying this. And I just can't thank you all enough for all your support. It means the world to me. When I started this, I didn't know if I'd get 10 views. And sometimes it's easy to dwell on the negative comments, but really there hasn't been a single one. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. The first 3 months of my channel, For the Love of Puzzles, has been just amazing. So I hope many, 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 many more months to come and years. I want to be 90 years old, assembling jigsaw puzzles, complaining about loose fits and everything. So, once again, thank you. I really appreciate it. For the love of puzzles, I hope you enjoy my videos. Please consider subscribing. And until next time, ciao!